Have you ever wondered what keeps a person alive even in the darkest moments? How do some people find purpose when everything seems utterly lost? Today, we are going to explore these profound questions by diving into one of the most powerful books on human resilience ever written, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. This isn't just a book review. It's a deep dive into a philosophy that can change the way you see your own life and struggles. So, who was Viktor Frankl? Before World War II, he was a respected psychiatrist and neurologist in Vienna. But his life took a harrowing turn when he, along with millions of others, was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps. He survived Auschwitz and other camps, but he lost his parents, his brother, and his wife. It's almost impossible for us to imagine the level of suffering he endured. Yet, it was within this abyss of despair that he made his most profound discoveries about the human spirit. Published in 1946, just a year after his liberation, Man's Search for Meaning is divided into two parts. The first part is a gripping, yet detached, account of his experiences in the camps. He doesn't just describe the horrors, he analyzes them through the lens of a psychiatrist. He observed his fellow prisoners and himself, trying to understand what separated those who gave up from those who held on. The second part of the book introduces his groundbreaking therapeutic approach, which he called Logotherapy. And this is where the core message of the book really shines. Frankl argues that the primary driving force in human beings is not the pursuit of pleasure, as Sigmund Freud believed, or the will to power, as Alfred Adler proposed. Instead, Frankl believed that our deepest desire is a will to meaning. In simple terms, what keeps us going is having a reason to live, a purpose that we feel is worth striving for. Think about that for a second. Our primary drive is to find meaning. This idea is both simple and revolutionary. While in the camps, Frankl noticed something incredible. The prisoners, who were most likely to survive, were not always the physically strongest or the healthiest. Instead, they were the ones who had a reason to keep living, a why that helped them endure the unimaginable how. He famously wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." This wasn't just a nice-sounding phrase. It was a life-or-death reality he witnessed firsthand. For some, this why was the hope of being reunited with a loved one, a child waiting for them back home. For others, it was unfinished work, a book they needed to write, a discovery they had to share with the world. Frankl himself held onto the image of his wife and the thought of one day rewriting the manuscript for his book, which had been confiscated when he entered the camp. This future goal, this sense of purpose, gave him the strength to face the daily brutality and starvation. What is so powerful about Frankl's work is that it doesn't just apply to extreme situations like the Holocaust. It's a universal truth that applies to all our lives, to our everyday struggles, anxieties, and moments of doubt. We all face suffering in some form. Maybe it's the loss of a job, a difficult breakup, a health crisis, or just a general feeling of emptiness. Frankl teaches us that while we may not always be able to control what happens to us, we always have the freedom to choose our attitude towards it. He said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. This is the ultimate source of our inner power. Even when stripped of everything, our freedom to choose our response remains. We can let suffering break us, or we can find meaning in it and grow stronger." So, how exactly do we find this meaning? Frankl suggested three primary paths. The first path is through creating a work or doing a deed. This is about our achievements and contributions. It's the meaning we find in our career, in building something, in creating art, or in solving problems. It's about dedicating ourselves to a cause or a project that is bigger than ourselves. This gives us a sense of purpose and a reason to get up in the morning. The second path is through experiencing something or encountering someone. This is the meaning we find in love, beauty, and connection. It could be the profound love for a partner, a child, or a friend. It could be the awe you feel when watching a beautiful sunset or listening to a moving piece of music. These moments of connection and appreciation enrich our lives and give them depth and value. Frankl emphasized that love is the ultimate and highest goal to which man can aspire. The thought of his wife was a beacon of light for him in the darkest of times. The third path is perhaps the most difficult, but also the most profound. It's the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. This is the core of his message. When we are faced with a situation we cannot change, like a terminal illness or an irreversible loss, we are challenged to find meaning by changing ourselves. We can transform a personal tragedy into a triumph by choosing to face it with courage, dignity, and grace. Our suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning, such as the meaning of a sacrifice. Let's make this practical. How can you apply Frankl's wisdom in your life right now? Start by reflecting on these 3 paths. What work or creative project makes you feel alive? Who are the people you love, and how can you deepen those connections? And when you face hardship, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this situation asking of me? What can I learn from this? How can I grow through this?" This shift in perspective can be life-changing. It moves you from being a passive victim of circumstance to an active agent in your own life story. Frankl's philosophy doesn't promise a life free of pain. On the contrary, it acknowledges that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience. But it offers something much more valuable, a way to find meaning and purpose within that suffering. One of the most powerful concepts from the book is what Frankl calls the tragic optimism. This is the ability to remain optimistic in spite of life's tragic trio: pain, guilt, and death. It's about saying yes to life, despite everything. It's about finding a reason to hope, even when things seem hopeless. This isn't a naive, Pollyannish optimism. It's a tough, resilient optimism forged in the fires of adversity. I truly believe Man's Search for Meaning is a book everyone should read at least once in their lifetime. It's short, but its impact is immeasurable. It will challenge you, it will move you, and it will give you a new framework for understanding your own existence. It's a reminder that no matter how difficult our circumstances, life never loses its meaning. Our task, our challenge, and our greatest freedom is to find it. So, I'd love to hear from you. Have you read this book? What was your biggest takeaway? Or maybe you have a personal story about finding meaning in a difficult time. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story could be the source of hope that someone else needs to see today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video meaningful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into life-changing ideas. See you in the next one.